someone tries to test me on the street, you know, I'm gonna have to.
Oh, I didn't think fast enough.
Hi everybody, how you doing?
Hello.
Doing
Amazing.
good. How
How
are
you
you?
doing?
Thank you for having us.
Good. I had to wear this shirt for you, Andre. It says Degrassi on it.
Oh,
I don't know if you can see it, but I was like,
oh my God.
I
my
had
heart,
to.
my
I had
heart.
to. I loved it when I
That's all
saw.
we need to see.
Right? I loved it when I saw that you got casted, and this franchise has such a passionate fan base. What was that reaction? Because I feel like once they see that casting, you get fan art made about you. You get all these messages and follows. We can start with Kieron. What was it like when you got that casting announcement?
I mean, that was a different world for me completely. I mean, I think I had like 1,000 followers on Instagram. I'd just done a couple of little things to sort of get on the radar of acting, and then next minute I'm getting drawings. People are making fan accounts of my hat that I was wearing. It was wild. But I think, as much as that sounds so crazy, it's so passionate. It's beautiful. It's like whoa, people are really interested in what we're doing, and people. 100%. It's like such an honor to be able to like have a positive effect on someone's day just by telling a story that they love. I just feel like such a privilege.
Yeah.
I just hope that they can like love the show as much as we even like, love telling it. You know, I think there's been some real consideration and care that's gone into making this, and
So much support,
some respect, and I think we I hope we just make them proud of their own story. Really, I'm bringing some new fans because it's a good story.
Yeah, that too.
Exactly. For you, Andre, what was it like? Do you go back and do you do research and see what other interpretations have been done of this character? You dive into the books, or do you get excited to kind of maybe put a new spin on this character that, like, for people that have never seen it, you know, they don't know any different. They're kind of going into it being like, this is the character and this is what I know.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I know there has been multiple interpretations of Christian. I know there's Dominic who played him in the movie, and there's a YouTube series that I think was fan made about Vampire Academy as well. And I watched a little bit of that. I'm a very self-critical person. If I watch anything with someone else in it, I'm definitely going to end up comparing myself to them and thinking, should I be like this or should I be like that? So what I tried to do was read the first book, you know, get the essence of what Christian was like in the first book. And then, I did want to bring my own interpretation to it. My philosophy behind acting has always been, you have to play people that you could be, you know? And I'm not saying that I could be a vampire that shoots fire out of his fingers.
You'd be a great vampire.
I think I would be a great one.
You know,
but I mean, I do understand where Christian's coming from, and I could see myself, you know, in the position that he's in, acting like he does. And I wanted to bring my own interpretation while keeping the essence of Christian also there.
Amazing. And for Andrew, I mean, Mason and Dimitri both kick some major butt in this. In those training scenes when you were fighting each other, for you, any of those skills, do you think that you could actually take out into the world? And like, if you ended up somehow in a fight, you'd be able to kick butt? Because you were pretty intimidating in those scenes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm all right. I can handle. I don't know. I grew up with two brothers, so I'm pretty tough when it comes to that. But yeah, I think that we learned. We had an 8-month intensive on how to fight. So and not just one style of fighting. So I feel pretty comfortable with my body and with these fights and this choreo at that time and at this time. So yeah, I think that, you know, when you're working on something for so long, someone tries to test me on the street, you know, I'm gonna have to.
Oh, I didn't think fast enough. What's going on? Oh, that's
I didn't know my brother would backstab. But it's fine. It's fine. I'd want to die letting him know that he just ripped my heart out.
Oh my God.
That's amazing. Last thing, real quick. What are maybe 2 words you would use to describe this first season?
Well, okay, 2 words. I just said 3.
Lovely fight. Lovely fight.
Okay.
Right.
I'd say sexy and shocking.
Oh God, what do I say? Passionate and dangerous.
Ooh, I like all those choices. Well, thank you guys so much for giving me the wrap. It was so great to meet you, and congratulations on the show.
Thank you
so much for your
much.
time.
Love
Nice
your-
t-shirt.
nice
Vampire Academy
t-shirt.
one next time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Although I appreciate
Thank
it.
you
I
so
appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll start with you, Jay August. I know you're no stranger to this kind of vampire world. What is it about vampires that you think give them this longevity that we are just so fascinated that you can put a TV show out in the 90s and the 2000s and people are still doing it here 2020, 2022?
I think it's the same thing that I learned about sci-fi and movies that take place in the future. Those movies are never about the future. They're always about the present. So I think with vampires, I think it's never really about vampires. It's always about humanity. And I think with vampires, you get to explore all aspects of humanity because they are timeless and ageless, and they have this hunger, and they are ultimately woundable in terms of like their weaknesses and needing to drink blood. On our show, our world is steeped in classism, and you have the Royal Moroi, who is, Victor, and I'm one of the 12 heads of family, and we're given all the rights and privileges that my children don't get because they're non-royals, because they were adopted. So Victor's passion is to find justice and equality in this vampire society.
And for you, Jonetta, what research did you do going into this? Were you a little intimidated taking on something that's been done before and is a beloved book? Or were you excited to kind of see a character, change it a little, put your own little spin on it?
Not intimidated. I was so excited to jump into this because I was a fan of the books. I read them when I was 13 or 14. And then I was a huge fan of the Vampire Diaries. So obviously a Julie Plec fan. And so it's just full circle. It's a dream come true for me.
And I feel like your character, I love your character and I love her power, just being able to talk to animals. Like that is, when people ask what superpower you want, it's either teleport for me or to talk to animals because I want to know what my dog is thinking. Right?
Yes, it's so cool. It's the coolest thing. It was fun to play.
I would have
What
to go
was
with
it like?
teleporting.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's
Pretty
obviously
cool.
number one.
Yes.
But then if you had two, I always go with that
Yeah,
one.
never see another airport again. Oh my God, that'd be so amazing.
Oh, I wish,
be
especially in
amazing.
these times,
Yes,
Yes.
right?
yes.
Oh my
Amazing.
gosh.
And obviously you two play family. What was it like getting to know each other? What were your first impressions of each other?
First impression was that you were really tall. That was like, that's the no-brainer. And then he's just, Jay's so funny. Like, yeah, like you really have such good energy. You're a human jukebox. You can sing a song out of anything. So it was like, great. Instantly, I was like, okay, this is a very nice person.
My first impression obviously was like, oh my God, my daughter is so beautiful. Both of my daughters are just beautiful. And then to learn very quickly that they're as beautiful human beings as they are actresses, as people. I adored working with these young ladies, and we had such a great time together. Our whole family, there are four of us. Robert plays my husband. The actor is Cornelius McCarthy, and we just make a great family. We love telling this story together.
Yeah, it's such a great dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen from all the behind the scenes pictures and everything, it looks like the entire cast is pretty much a family. Because I know when it comes to scenes, sometimes you're just kind of like grouped off. But when you all get
Right.
together, it seems like it must be so much fun behind the scenes.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It helped being in a place like Pamplona, where, in the off season of like running of the bulls, which is what it's so famous for, a lot of things shut down. So, and that's when we were there filming. So we would go to each other's house and then play card games or like, watch TV, watch movies together. We were always together, even if we were like sitting in silence. We formed a family. Like we are so close. I adored this cast so much.
One time we played Mafia, and I was the killer, and I straight away confessed as a strategy to see if it would keep me in the game long. And I stayed in the game pretty long with that strategy. It worked for a little while.
Did the same strategy the next time he was accused. And it was like, okay, you're out this time.
Yeah, I was like, this is one way to go. I
That
thought
was,
it did work for a round or two.
oh my God.
You never know, because at that point they're probably be like, he would not do that again. He would not be. No.
That was my thinking.
Yeah.
That was my thinking.
Hi everybody, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, I'm doing good. Congratulations on this show. I know you two are kind of experts with this vampire world. Why was now kind of the right time to bring this this book series back to life in this way?
It's twofold. One is really shallow and one is really important. And I'll talk about the shallow part, which is that, I loved these books back in 2007 when they were published. And it was at a time when I did not have the resume that I have today. And so there was no outlet for me, no door I could walk into and, where somebody was going to say, hey, what do you want to do? Let's do whatever you want to do. And, 3 vampire shows and 15 years later, somebody did ask me that question, and the answer was still Vampire Academy. And I think that was the biggest thrill for, Universal and Peacock, that, they hired me into their stable, not knowing that I would, continue generating vampire love stories for them. I'm sure they were quite happy that I was willing to. But for me, it was just that I've been a fan of this material for so long. It is completely different in all the best ways from anything I've ever done. It's not about just recycling old ideas. It's about challenging myself to come up with new ones. And then when you add the important side of the story into it, which Marguerite will tell you.
Well, when Julie and I were talking about it, I had also read the books back in the day, but I only thought I read the first book, and going back saw that not only had I read the first book, I knew all the books and had forgotten how deeply political they were. I mean, this is about a class system that is kind of really unequal, unfair, and coming apart at the seams. And I was like, well, that's resonant. Regime change, all the things that are challenging this system. So I was like, well, this is a way into telling a story that's so resonant for now, that has all the fun stuff that we love, but also tells this beautiful story of that pressure of that society on these 2 core female characters that are the core of our story, that is the Rose and Lys's story. So it just felt like now felt even more resonant than if we'd ever done it back in the day.
And what goes into making those changes and updating it for 2022? I know, you go back and you look and people have little things they nitpick about the books or the movies, and now you're getting this opportunity to do these new changes that I think people will probably like. But what goes into which things you want to change? And do you look at feedback from what's online or anything?
I think we looked at anything that gave us a cringe vibe, like Rose's age being less than the age of consent. When the books were written, that was kind of hot and sexy in its own weird way, and now it's just something it's not only triggering, but it's sending the wrong message out into the world. So we definitely wanted to update things like that. We wanted to lose some of the stuff that was good soapy fun then, but again, maybe a little bit uncomfortable now. We also wanted to push deeper into the thematic core of the book series. Really wanted to talk about the societal stuff, the idea of elitism and classism. We also, there were some choices to be made for character consolidation. There's a sprawling cast of characters in the books and in our show, but even we had to, combine a few people here and there to, kind of represent what they stood for in the story, maybe in an amalgam of characters. And then also we had this really tremendous realization that there was so much story that the novelist told just in backstory, that was incredibly emotional and incredibly interesting. And we wanted to be able to tell that story too, in our own linear way. So we just took all the best parts of everything and put it into maybe an order that the audience won't expect, but will recognize when all is said and done.
And also in casting, in terms of the book, if we had done it 15 years ago, all the Russian names, all the things, people were much more linear in their casting and all of that. So we had the opportunity to say, this is just we can cast anyone we want in any role from any country
Anywhere.
on earth.
Yeah.
So we were able to see all the best people. We had the greatest choice. And also we didn't have any pressure to cast anyone who was already famous or
Had been in the movie.
exactly. It was all just, let's get some amazingly talented people here and let it look like the world we live in. And that was also a way to really update that storytelling.
Amazing. Well, I know they're going to be in wrap. I just want to say, Marguerite, I loved Kyle XY, and it's one of those shows that I still will not watch the last little bit of because I don't want to see the ending. But
no, don't watch the ending.
It's a great, right?
It's a long story, but it ends on such a big dumb cliffhanger, and it was forced upon us.
We thought we were coming back.
We thought we were coming back.
But we met then. So
that's where our friendship.
So it had a happy ending, and I loved it. That's what I love about it. That's amazing. Well, thank you all so much for your time, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
She's my family. I would die for her.